Welcome to the Wildverse podcast, where we introduce you to the wild world of taxidermy. I'm Heather.
And I'm Ashley.
And on this episode, we're going to be talking about the National Convention and some other recent state competitions and conventions.
And today we are also joined by Dalton Jeffers and Dillon Juarez. Thank you both for joining us. Welcome. How are you guys doing today?
Good.
Doing good.
Great.
That's good. We don't have a gun held to your heads, I promise.
I feel one.
Yeah. All right. So, I guess, I don't really know a lot about either of you guys. I know that I've seen you both bounce around on Facebook here and there. So, which shows have you attended this year? I guess I'll start with, how about you, Dalton? How many shows and what shows have you gone to?
This year, it's only been 2.
Okay.
I went to Virginia and then Nationals. Those are the only 2 I went to this year. But usually, the past couple years, it's been either 3 to 4, depending on what I can do.
All right.
Which I've done North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia. I've done Maryland before. So, Nationals was my first year this year.
So I guess, do you plan on attending any other shows, Dalton, or are you done for the year?
Thinking one more. I'm thinking I might go out to Worlds. I don't know yet. So, if everything lines up.
Who knows?
You gotta go.
Yeah.
Dillon, how about you? What shows have you gone to this year in the past?
I went to New Mexico this year. I'm planning on Texas, maybe Worlds. But the past, I've done New Mexico, Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma. I think that's it. And Nationals.
Yeah, Dillon went on like a world tour last year.
I was going to say.
I had like 8 shows planned this year, and I only went to 1. So.
Oh, wow. Jeez, that's a low percentage. So I guess
yeah.
Can kind of explain to people who don't know you guys, like Dillon, where are you from?
I am in Artesia, New Mexico, and I kind of just go wherever the wind blows me.
Okay. And what about you, Dalton?
I'm from Mount Airy, Maryland, and we're getting out of here shortly, but just been growing up here all my life and traveling and doing taxidermy, so.
All right.
Yeah, and Heather, you mentioned before the podcast started, we have 3 time zones here, so that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Nationwide.
We are. We didn't get to the complete West Coast yet on this episode, but I'm sure we'll get there at some point. So, Dalton, you said that you guys aren't, you're going to be getting out of Maryland soon? Are you staying in Maryland? Or are you going somewhere else?
No, we're moving to Virginia.
Oh, okay. That's not too far.
No. Staying within about an hour, 30 minutes from here.
Nice. You guys must be pretty close in proximity then, Heather and Dalton.
Yeah, I don't think we're too far. I think when I went to the Maryland show, I passed by that Mount Airy exit, maybe. I know I've seen it before.
Yeah, it all depends. Are you in Virginia?
No, I'm in Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania? No, you were coming down, so you didn't get to it yet. It's actually past where they hold that show.
Okay, all right. I know I've heard of it. Maybe I'm thinking of a different place.
Probably
everything's pretty close up there.
It is. It's just so much traffic. It takes long to freaking get there.
I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
Nice. So I want to talk about the national show just a little bit, at first here, because obviously it's the national show, right? And I went to it this year, so did Dalton.
Mm-hmm.
And the national show is actually where I met Heather in person for the first time a couple years ago. And Dillon went to the national show last year. It's a show that we've all been to, a lot of people been to. So this year, the national show was held in Columbia, Missouri. It switches locations every year. And this show is where taxidermists can win titles such as National Champion and North American Champion. So if you win your category in the open division, which I think it's just called the National Division now, you win the title of National Champion. And if you win your category in the Division of Excellence, which is like the Masters Division, but now I think it's just called the North American Division, you win the title of North American Champion. That was a lot.
Yeah, I know. Those always confuse me because, National Champion and North American Champion, it's for the lay person, North American Champion and National Champion sound about the same. If they come into your shop and see National Champion, sounds good to them. They don't I don't know. It's not like when you go to a state show and you win a state champion that has to be masters. So it sounds better.
I feel like national champion sounds better to the mind, I guess, than North American champion.
It does. That's when I've told people, they've all said like national champion sounds like maybe more tangible. Like you actually know maybe what it means. So it's kind of confusing.
That. Yeah.
But like Heather said, when you win state champion, it's like, oh well, yeah, state champion.
Had to be a Masters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the level of work at nationals is pretty high. Even if you're in the open division or national division, you still have to hit a 90, or you have to get 90 points in order to even win. So like even if you have the best score in your category, you still have to get a 90 and above to win national champion.
Yeah.
It's such a mouthful. So yeah, it's just crazy how that works. So Dalton, you went to nationals this year. How'd that go? Did you have a good time? What were some takeaways?
It was an awesome time. Because the last one I went to was in 2008, and when it was in Kentucky. So I was 8 years old, and I went to Kentucky with my dad where he competed, and that was a ball from what I can remember. And then being able to go back again in 2024 and actually be able to compete now, it was something else, especially seeing just the level of work. Because back then, I didn't know what I was looking at when I was 8. I knew what cool stuff was. But now it's more I can actually look at the work. And it just was an all-around great time getting to meet new people that I've never met. Or if I would have to go almost halfway across the country to go meet people. But it was a bit of a hike, but I did get lucky enough to win my national title in the short-haired open mouth division, and then I got the silver medallion in the open mouth long-haired division.
Awesome.
And then you also won something habitat-wise, isn't that right?
Yeah, I got. I guess you say it's the second in the nation for most realistic habitat with my 2 landlocked Atlantic salmon that I got over there in the corner.
Cool. Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great job. You brought a bunch of pieces. Like for anybody watching the video on YouTube, like you can see Dalton's video. He has one of his deer, at least one of the deer behind you.
Right here. The apple tree deer.
Yeah, and is that the one that won the gold?
Yes, that one won gold.
Okay, nice. Yeah, congrats. You did very well. Thank you. And so yeah, like you're saying, the work at nationals. I mean, obviously, it's like amazing work, and because I went to the show too, and I like was not surprised, but like something that caught my attention was that the work was just really good. Like I don't know if it's just maybe a trend, or obviously the national show things are really good, but like so many good pieces. Like the level overall was just really high. Yeah. Not that it's not usually, but like just noticeably so high at this show in particular.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Now, what year did you go to nationals, Dillon?
2023.
Oh, okay. So that was, I think the year I went when I met you actually was 22. Which was the 23? Where was that at?
That was in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't at that
right.
one.
That was the national of all national shows to be at.
It was a big show, but there was like a lot of like, I don't know.
Things.
It was a lot of fun stuff. Me and Dillon sat at the same table during the banquet last year, 2023. So that was fun too. We were there with Kent, and you guys are a fun crowd to be around.
We almost got kicked out.
I was gonna say that's not a good crowd of beer.
No, it wasn't anything terrible, but it was just a little bit of shenanigans. But yeah, and then Heather, you and I went to the national show.
That was when it was Ohio.
Yeah, we were there 2 years ago.
Yeah, 22.
2022, yeah.
Yeah, it was the Ohio show.
And
it was hot and miserable. I don't know what it was like in Sioux Falls or how the weather was in Missouri, but oh my gosh.
Missouri was beautiful.
Oh,
yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, and just remember.
Yeah, because this year they had the national show in May. So it was just last month. Usually it's in like July. Yeah. And next year it's going to be in the summertime also. Don't know if I can say too much on that one.
I'm not sure.
But yeah, I've been going to nationals the last 4 years. Well, I've gone 4 times in the last consecutive years or whatever. And I love the national show. It's been one of my favorites. Like the work's always good, and then it's just exciting because people are like winning titles and stuff. And even if I don't know, like people don't do as good as they want to do, there's still a lot going on, and like good seminars. It's just a good time. Like because people from all over the country go to those shows, versus a state show. Maybe it's just kind of locals, but nationals is fun. I've always enjoyed that show. Let's go over to Dylan. You said you went to New Mexico.
Yeah, I'm curious about New Mexico because I don't know, that whole culture just seems like that would be cool and different. So I kind of want to hear about that show.
So it's usually a small show, there was some things that like happened a couple years back, but it became a pretty small association. I think typically we have like 80 pieces. I want to say we were like maybe in the 150s this past show.
Oh, good.
So it was a good turnout. We usually have it in a pretty cool place, kind of touristy. It's real cool. It's there's not a lot of whitetail. There might be one whitetail for the whole show.
Wow.
Not a lot of fish anymore. A couple of reptiles, but mainly it's life size and what everyone else calls game heads. We got mule deer and aoudad and just stuff like that. It's pretty fun.
Southwesterny stuff.
It's probably, out of all the shows I've been to, it's probably more like a family reunion kind of feeling. Like, we still have good judges, but it's like a good hangout and just get to talk to everybody. No pressure on anything. Seminars are kind of just like, they have their times, but you just kind of filter in or filter out. It's real cool.
Yeah, I noticed whenever I saw pictures of the New Mexico show that like the animals are so uniquely like New Mexico, I guess. Like you said, there's not a lot of whitetail. There's mule deer, there's aoudad, a lot of life size like mountain lions. I think I saw some oryx in there, right? Like very New Mexican animals. It's very unique species. And so I thought that was neat to see, like, it's really a product of where it's at.
Yeah, we have a couple awards that are actually tailored to like New Mexico. There's like the Southwest Award, which you have to, I guess it's a piece that portrays the Southwest the best, and it's pretty neat. That's kind of one I strive for, but I never get it. But there's all kinds of stuff. We have like exotic awards, which you don't really see anywhere. Kind of unique. It's its own thing, I guess.
Cool. You guys give out buckles there too, right?
We have buckles in. I mean,
I
might sound biased, but as far as I know, it's the only state that gives buckles to professionals and masters.
Ooh.
And I think they're the prettiest. They got some turquoise and stuff on them typically.
That's what I'd expect. If I was going to win a buckle in New Mexico, it better have some turquoise on it.
Yeah,
they change plaques every year, but this year we actually had black plaques with turquoise Zia symbols on them.
That's cool.
That's cool.
So that was pretty neat.
See, it's so unique. Like it's so uniquely, like it's almost its own like cultural thing. Kind of like how Louisiana is very like culturally unique, right? New Mexico's sort of similar. That's super cool. What are some other takeaways from like the New Mexico show? Was there anything that stuck out to you, or like
any cool pieces?
Like that? Yeah,
pieces that kind of stick in your head.
There's a lot of life size this year, it seemed, and so those are always cool because it's a lot of work. There was 2 life size coos deer on like, it looked like a mountain. I didn't really get a chance to look at it too much, but it was really cool to see across the room. And there's always a couple oryx, so those are kind of eye-catching regardless because they're so weird colored. But it's always cool to see stuff. There's a lot of I guess habitats that are pretty neat too, because it's just our state's so unique. Like different parts look different, so I mean all the habitats are just cool to see, and you can kind of see where maybe something was taken. The northwest is so different than where I'm at, so like the rocks look completely different, and then you get like down here and it's all sand, so you see a little bit of everything.
It's cool.
That is cool. Yeah, I like that. I like the different geographical differences and stuff. That's cool that you were able to see like which pieces came from like which areas. I like that. Let's see. Anything else to add on that, or you want
to? I'm sure this will be like broadcasted, so it would be cool to see everybody at the New Mexico show. Like we would really enjoy having anyone show up and like compete, I guess, or just hang out. It's cool. I feel like a lot of people don't think about New Mexico when it comes to taxidermy, so
The one thing that you said was that it's more like a family reunion. So then that to me is kind of like, all right, if I go there, am I going to feel like an outcast?
Yeah, that's the only thing I'd have a
if you feel
worry
like
about.
an outcast is because you like pulled
Or
yourself
making
away
yourself?
from everybody. Yeah.
Okay. So it's not going to be cliquey that people aren't going to welcome you into it type of deal.
If you know
Right.
Dillon, you can do. Everybody will know you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You're very approachable. Yeah, it seems like it was a big show this year in New Mexico, and hopefully and probably growing. So it's kind of intriguing. Like that might be something we need to check out in the future.
I got to do my first walkthrough video, and I guess I'm so amateur at it that it was too long to send to Ashley to promote. So
Oh, I know. we were hoping to post it, but
Yeah, I was even
couldn't figure
thinking
that
about
out.
that. I'm like, I think Ashley told me that somebody was going to take a walkthrough video, and I was wondering if it was this Dillon, but I don't remember seeing one.
Yeah, it
Yeah, it
didn't quite
was
make it to us.
10 minutes long. I mean, I went fast enough, I thought, but I guess I was a little too slow. So
Well,
it's
maybe
on my
next year.
TikTok if y'all want to check
Oh,
it out.
all right, perfect. We'll have to maybe repost it on our Wildverse TikTok too, and then that'll show up to your page and can be a
Then I
good
could be
cycle.
famous.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
exactly.
don't. Yeah, it's that easy.
Nice.
So you went to the New Mexico show. Gosh, your two names are so close. Dalton. So yeah, Dalton, you said you had gone to Virginia, and
Mhm.
what was the other show this year?
Nationals.
Nationals.
this year.
Okay. So how was Virginia? I kind of think that's so close to the PA show. I've never made it down there. This episode of Wildverse is sponsored by Pro One Performance Chemicals. Pro One specializes in tanning chemicals for the professional taxidermist. They provide a complete line of tanning products that provide you with everything you need to tan the next hide in your own shop. We trust the Pro One process and tanning solutions on all of our customers' mounts. Ashley especially has had great luck using the Pro Max on all of her competition pieces. She loves how easy it is and how well explained all of the directions are directly on the bottle. It's truly a very versatile tan. Not only does Pro One have the best tanning chemicals out there, they also have the best glue. Here in the shop where I work, we use Pro One glue on all of our customers' mounts. From using it in habitat scenes to gluing the leather onto the back of our pedestals and our wall pedestals, you can use it for practically anything. I mean, heck, I even thickened it and used it in the wings that were on my flying squirrel I competed with a few years ago, and they are holding up great. We love how thick the consistency is and how easy it is to maneuver under the skin once the hide is on the form. Ashley and I both use Pro One, and it is truly the industry standard when it comes to glue. Now, as of 2024, you can order your Pro One products online at pro1performancechemicals.com. That's pro, the number one, performancechemicals.com.
Virginia is an awesome show. The first time I went was last year, and when I went down there, everyone just welcomes you. Nope, I mean, anybody, if you got questions, you can ask anybody. It's in such good hands and all that. It's just, everyone just welcomes you right in. They'll talk to you. You might not even know the person. They'll just start talking to you. And then just the work. I mean, there was about, the first year I went, there was probably about 140 pieces. This year there was about 130, somewhere in there. But the work down there is spectacular. I mean, everyone does really nice work. But the biggest part is everyone's willing to help each other out. No one hides any secrets or anything. Which is that's one thing I've noticed. Some of the shows you go to, some people want to hide everything from everybody when it's like, we're here to try to make everyone better. So why wouldn't we just tell them what we did? And because sometimes it don't work for certain people. So
Yeah.
But no,
I've always been a believer of that. It doesn't matter if you tell somebody every single step of the way.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that they're going to be able to do it the same.
Exactly.
So,
but I think that's probably out of my favorite shows. That's probably number one. It's pretty much, I call it my home state show, pretty much.
Is that why you want to move there?
There's that, but also other stuff. So
yeah, that's cool that they're so close. That that is a show that you can attend.
Yeah, no, it is.
It's easy to get to and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so how long have you been going to the Virginia show? You said it's one of your favorite shows.
This was my second year, and out of all of them, it's been my favorite. So
Do they do anything special at that show?
This year they brought. I could go grab it real quick, but they made a wrestling belt for state champion.
Oh yeah, I want to see that. Go grab.
Yeah.
We
I heard about
also
belt.
had one made for our live mounting competition.
A wrestling
Oh,
belt.
okay.
Yeah, and we're getting
Oh.
the little plaques on each side so you know who won it when.
That's actually pretty
Oh.
good. Cool.
Oh, yeah.
For the live.
So
Yeah.
this is the whitetail one.
Okay. So it's
And I
like
wear
a mini wrestling
Yeah,
belt.
I can wear it
Okay.
around my leg. That's about it.
It's like
my
around your
one
waist.
buddy Nate Nixon, he had his daughter wear his.
There
She
you
could
go.
wear it because she was little, so she wore the waterfowl one. But yeah,
Huh.
no, they're pretty sweet. It was different, something we
Yeah,
haven't
I
seen
remember
before.
when I saw that, and I was like, I don't know what I think about this right now.
I was
Yeah.
we were hoping they were really big ones. We were gonna go wrestle by the pool and then hold them up like so.
I don't know, how interesting. I'm surprised you can't like wear it. Like it's not big enough for that. It's just kind of small, but
It was fun. It was funny though. We all wore them around our legs, on our thighs when we were
You
taking
can maybe
pictures.
wear it like a crown.
Oh yeah, you
Yeah.
could wear it like a crown easily.
Like a rodeo queen.
There
yeah,
you
there
go.
you go.
Hey,
it's real
Nice.
tight, but
That's how it's meant to be. Okay.
yeah.
I like the idea. Dylan just said is it New Mexico that has them for the live? Okay,
Yeah.
I like the idea of having that for the live. Kind of different.
Mhm.
It's a big one too. I mean, like Robert Major wore it. I don't know if y'all know Robert, but he's a tall dude, you know, like probably 6'8". I don't know. If Robert
Oh.
sees this, I'm sorry if I made you shorter or taller. But it's like he put it on his shoulder, and that thing was like giant.
So that
And,
one's like a revolving one, you said though. Like
yeah.
each year it switches
Oh,
hands.
so you have to
yeah,
give
and we're
it back.
planning on getting the little plaque so everyone knows
You
like
could have your
who
name
won
on it.
it, and yeah.
So you have to
That's pretty
defend
cool.
your title in order to
Yeah.
keep the belt.
And
Mm.
what's cool with New Mexico is anybody can compete in the live mounting. It's not just a
As
Masters challenge.
That's the same with Virginia. All our mounting wars and stuff like that. It's not split up. Everyone is in there competing against each other.
Oh, okay.
Is that how it is? Is that like you said that, Dylan? Is that how Texas is? It's only
Texas is
Masters.
that way.
Okay. I saw
Oh.
a post the other day. They were
Okay.
looking for a couple more people or something, and I saw Masters on there, so made me think.
Because in Texas they call it the Masters Challenge, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't know it was exclusive or whatever, but they call it that. So you'd assume you got to be kind of master or whatever. But as far as I know, most other states they call it like the live mounting, or nationals they call it live
Oh,
warrior or
The
something.
Lone Warrior.
Lone
Or-
Warrior.
There's
Where
a
you had
low
Yeah.
warrior.
What was it?
Yeah.
The Double
Double
Warrior.
warrior.
There was a
Yeah.
couple different ones.
Yeah.
Triple warrior.
Yeah.
I
Like-
haven't had that one yet, but yeah. So I know these live mounting competitions are getting a lot more popular too. Have you guys done them? Like Heather has.
I'd done one in North Carolina last year. I mounted a deer, it was for a client of mine. I don't know why I took it, and everyone was like, "Why are you mounting that thing?" It was a straight upright, both ears forward, little 6.2. And,
Gotta
Oh.
mount it. Get it
and-
done.
and that's what I said. I said I'm down here, might as well get it done. And then next thing you know, I think I got third place with that one.
It's
I
not
did
bad.
what we call a wet lab, and so like earlier in the day when nothing's going on, they kind of invite people to mount animals, like just like a little seminar, and you kind of just mount it, and people want to ask questions or whatever, they can come up. I've done that,
Okay.
but never the live like challenge, I guess.
They call it a wet lab.
Yeah,
That's a new one.
That's
Yeah, it sounds like a
interesting.
wet specimen or something.
yeah.
Kind of different.
Well, I mounted mine, and I was like sick that year, so like it took forever. So I was mounting it while they were doing the live mounting too, and everyone thought I was competing in that, and I'm like, no, I'm just now finishing.
No, it took him 6 hours to do it.
It did. It wasn't even my animal. Some guy had brought two, and he was like, "Do you want to do one?" And I'm like, "Sure."
Well, at least
Why
you got
not?
to do something. So
I feel like that's a good low key seminar because it's no
Oh,
pressure. You just
yeah, no, exactly, and people can come in and out as they want to.
I feel like
That's-
that gives people that maybe not or like not asked to do seminars. I feel like it gives them a chance to show some of their tricks. And
Yeah.
I'm a strong believer in like you can learn from anybody.
No,
Mhm.
you
Like some guy that maybe just like that's his first show or whatever. Maybe he's just kind of mounting a deer or something. You can go up and see how he does it.
Yeah, I've never sat in a seminar and not came out with something that I can use.
Yeah.
Anything just simple. So everybody's got their tips and tricks.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I guess so. What's been your guys' favorite show to attend, like in general? Like in the past years, like you guys have obviously been attending shows for like a while. Dylan, you went to like a bunch last year. Like, what would you guys say is like your all-time favorite show that you've ever been to?
It's too hard.
If one sticks out to you, I know sometimes there's maybe not an obvious answer, but
I'd say Virginia for me, but the close runner-up is North Carolina. Yeah.
I would say Texas is by far probably the best run show. The Texas show is ran probably better than any other show, even probably Worlds. I would say a lot of people don't like it. There's some stuff going on I probably won't talk about, but a lot of people don't like Texas because it's too professional, but we still have a good time. We still hang out, but it's a very professional setting. Like it's like, I guess in my head, it's how Worlds would be run. Like
because
it's
a big show, right? Like it's probably one of the biggest state shows, or it's up there.
I mean, you got
so
one
obviously
of the
they got to
states,
run it.
So.
Well, what's that?
You got one of the biggest states, so I figured.
Yeah.
I mean,
makes sense.
And there's a lot of taxidermy work in Texas.
Yes, there is.
And I would go out on a limb to say that like it's hard to win anything in Texas because there's so many good taxidermists there. I mean, it's like sometimes it's intimidating because there's just so much good work there, and I'm like, oh, I've been in professionals this long, and my stuff looks like it doesn't look as good as some of the other stuff I'm seeing, I'm like,
but that's what's good about traveling around, though.
Yeah.
You stay at a small state, and you might even get up to masters in a small state, and then you branch out and go to these bigger states, and you're like, holy crap. Like, I've done well in my little safety bubble, but then you branch out, and it kind of pushes you to keep getting better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've definitely been to smaller state shows. Obviously, I won't say which ones, but like the stuff that won those shows probably wouldn't have won the bigger shows, and that's kind of common too. But obviously, it's it just depends on what shows up at these shows. So obviously, a bigger show like Texas, you're gonna have more that show up, and the likelihood of having really good pieces is high. So that's just what you get.
Yeah. So every piece that I took my scimitar to 4 states, and it wasn't the greatest, but it went from like an 85 to an 88 between the 3, or if I took it to 3 shows, and then Texas it got a 75.
It's a big jump.
So there's always a 10-point deduction in Texas, it seems.
Yeah. So I guess, do you feel that like they shouldn't judge so inconsistently than other shows, or like?
As far as like judging goes, I think it's cool because it pushes me to do better. Like if I can do really well at Texas, I can do really well anywhere. But other people, when they show up, like we had a guy go and he had like best in show something or other. I think it was a duck, and he got there and he got a 3rd place, and he's like, I can't believe it. And I was like, there is really good work there, so I don't know, but it turns a lot of people off from coming back because it's so different in scores and everything.
Yeah, it's intimidating.
Yeah, and that's the only thing.
I'm one of those people that like, it's just different judges on different days, and you know that you're going there to be judged kind of hard because it is a big state show.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm kind of the type of person that if you want to compete to get like a pat on the back and how like everybody just tell you how great you are, it's probably not for you. So like if the people get that upset that they don't do well, as long as it's legitimate reasons as to why you scored what you scored.
Yeah, I had some stuff that I didn't think should be looked at in professionals, but that it was good to learn, and I'm like, I'll look for that next time.
But it was a little harsh for your division.
It was pretty harsh. Like even at national show, my score was 10 points better.
Yeah.
Some people went to Worlds with their piece, and I went to Texas, and they would get a 92 or 3, and then in Texas they'd get like an 80 something.
Hmm.
So
it's pretty
I don't.
consistent that it's
Yeah.
always
It's like
low.
a 10-point difference. Yeah.
Yeah, which that's kind of a big difference in
It
most
is.
books.
But I want to do good in Texas.
Yeah.
That way I can do good anywhere. Like I feel like I've made it at that point.
Yeah.
But who knows? They might
'cause
work
then if
on
you-
that. They might not. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if you do well there, you know you like earned it.
Yeah.
So as opposed to just like, here's your ribbon.
Yeah,
But-
exactly.
I guess
The
that
first
kind of
place,
brings
like-
up a little topic, though, real quick, with you guys competing. What is the biggest points jump you guys have ever had from show to
Oh.
show?
Like you took the same piece to a different show and point jump.
Yeah. Up or down?
I
It's
haven't
always
had a
been
big.
down.
I haven't had one jump except a point.
I did
Like
get some
my-
88s.
My apple tree deer took a 95 at nationals and it took a 94 at Virginia.
Okay.
So
That's pretty
but
good to
actually,
score higher there.
Here now, okay. Now there was a big jump between my silver medal, or silver medallion, that took a 94 at nationals. Hilton gave it, or it got a 91 at Virginia.
Okay.
So that was my biggest jump. I forgot
Jeez.
about that one.
Aren't you so great?
No, I'm not trying to be like that. It's just
no.
because Hilton judged that one beforehand, and I knew there was stuff wrong with it. I just brought it just because I wanted
They're
the
all
second
gonna
one
have
with me.
stuff wrong with them.
Yeah, everything's got something wrong with it.
Yeah. And then Dillon, you said that yours that you took to Texas jumped
Yeah, you were
pretty good.
consistent elsewhere, and then Texas just
Yeah,
different.
I've got, like, when I first started competing as, like, an adult, because I used to compete as a kid quite a bit, but, like, in professionals, I would get, like, a high third, and then in, like, Texas, I get an honorable mention, like,
how when you were a youngster. Do they have a youth division there in Texas, or is it
They
all
do.
just? Do
you
they?
do. And, I mean, another kind of unpopular opinion is, like, when I was a youth, like, I never once got a blue ribbon, ever. Like, even in the youth division, it was, like, normal competition. You know, they took in consideration you were a kid, but never got a blue ribbon. And now you go to state shows and all the kids have blue ribbons, which is
Yeah.
cool. I'm happy for them to do that, but I was like, dang, why couldn't I get a blue ribbon as a kid?
Yeah. I think the biggest part is to try to keep them interested in it, because you see a lot of kids nowadays, they get up there and they get a green ribbon, like you were saying. It's like, oh, now I don't ever want to do it again. It's like, okay, you don't want to say that because it's a learning curve. That's all it is.
Yeah, you don't gotta hurt a kid's feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this taxidermy thing, it's even hard for adults to get blue ribbons.
I was
So
gonna say,
and then
my
to
dad's
tell that
in-
to a kid, it's hard.
yeah, my dad's in the same boat. He got his first 2 blue ribbons ever last year. So
Oh, no, and so I guess what's interesting too that you mentioned your dad and
Mhm.
you guys, Dalton and Dillon, both your dads are taxidermists also, so
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. And it's, obviously that's how both of you got into taxidermy, was your fathers being
Mhm.
taxidermists. That's pretty cool. I like
Yeah.
that little family tradition.
Yeah.
so
How far back does the lineage go? Where your grandpa's taxidermist?
No.
No.
my dad started doing it when he was 7, when he lived out in California.
Oh, jeez.
Helping out and all that, and then he came here in the mid '90s, and then went full taxidermy. So with construction,
My mom
Man.
told my dad that $250 a mount was too much money, so he had to either learn how to do it or stop getting things mounted.
Oh,
There
And
you
so
go.
that's how it started.
it's a good ultimatum.
Yeah, he's like, well, I'm going to make a career out of it. Watch.
Well, he did it as a hobby.
Oh, he did. Oh, gotcha.
He doesn't do much anymore other than, like, maybe for a show he'll come in here and
throw something
do
together.
something. Yeah.
Cool.
That is cool. Let's see. What other questions do we have? What's been your guys' like favorite comp piece that you've ever taken to a show? Do you have a favorite?
Hector.
I knew, yeah.
Hector.
So, I know, Dillon, you were going to say Hector. That's. Can you explain a little bit about who Hector or what Hector is?
Hector is a Mexican
Hector
ground
is.
squirrel.
Oh,
And he's a shoulder mount, and he's on a floor pedestal, and he has casters.
that was you. I
That
wondered.
was
I
me.
remember that one.
The golden caster.
Yeah.
He's
So
famous.
I went to so many shows, and I wasn't gonna mount anything else because I was like I was honestly burnt out of traveling. Like I wanted to keep going to shows, but I was like, I couldn't even work on clients' pieces. I had like a 2 week window of nothing going on. And I'm like, I don't want to start anybody's animal or anything.
You wanted to take a break,
So
pretty much.
I'm like a squirrel hunter, I guess. Kind of unpopular out here, but it's something to do. So we have these ground squirrels everywhere, and I got it in the yard, and I've had it for like a year. So I had a chipmunk form laying around. And I was like, well, I'll just mount the whole squirrel for myself, just keep it in the house. Well, I was like, oh, I don't want to do a whole squirrel. I'll do a shoulder mount. So I did a shoulder mount. I found like everything in the yard and at Walmart. The base is actually a little birdhouse from Walmart. And I just kind of like threw it together. And then I was like, well, Texas has a caster rule, which I think is good. Y'all can burn me or whatever, but it's so professional. I almost felt like a little bit of a joke towards it might not be a good thing. So I wasn't gonna put them on there. They're tech deck wheels, by the way.
Yeah, they're like a little skateboard wheels
Yeah.
for your
Yeah.
casters,
And
right? It's so cute.
so it was coming down to it, and it was actually turning out really good. But when it dried, it didn't turn out very good. And I was like, I don't want my tech deck wheels to be like the difference between a breakthrough and just a ribbon. But so they made a post on Facebook, and it says all pedestals / floor mounts have to have casters. And I was like, I know what they're getting at, but that wording is like 100% a go ahead. So I put them on there, and yeah, I don't think anybody really looked at my squirrel. They just looked at the wheels, but it did well. I got my first second in Texas with it. I actually got my first award, and then I got another award that I think is just a joke, but everyone says I should own it and be proud of it. But
That's the Golden Caster
the
Award?
golden caster.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I don't know if this is going to come out before the Texas show, but I'm thinking about turning the golden caster into a belt buckle, since Texas is a belt buckle state.
And wearing it
And I'm
around,
gonna
that
wear
would
it,
be
yeah.
fantastic.
It's gonna look interesting.
That would be fantastic. What does the
I
Golden
gotta-
Caster Award look like?
Yeah, do you
It's
have
just
it?
a caster, and it's spray painted gold. And
Oh,
I
okay.
have to tell you about it. You probably want to cut it, but I'll tell you about it.
Oh boy.
No, that sounds interesting. I don't think we want to cut it.
I know. The people want to know.
It's dusty.
Blow it off real quick.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so
It's
then
an
you could
actual
just make
caster.
the whole block of wood would
Yeah, I
be the
could
buckle, and
just
that would be
Put it like that, walk around.
Oh my god.
So, I mean, I'm finally somewhat starting to own that it was like, I know it's a joke, but I was like, this is probably
it's
the
cool,
only
though, at the
golden
same time.
caster ever. I was like,
I don't think it's a joke. I think your piece made an impact so much
Yeah.
that, like,
I think
Yeah.
it should have got the
Awarded that.
Champion's Choice Impact Award.
That's what
actually.
I
I
told
know.
There
Clint.
you go.
Yeah.
I told
Because it's
Clint
like,
that
it was
at
impactful.
Nationals.
Yeah.
Did you
And
really?
and he's like, he laughed. He says, the ground squirrel getting that? He's like, you gotta have a big piece, dude.
That ain't no way. Your piece was very impactful. That's the
I
idea.
feel like I could have got People's Choice, but there was a half body moose
Hmm.
over at
I remember
Nationals,
that
so
one. I think I saw that.
I didn't get it. So yeah. And then I got a Van Dyke Award, and I didn't even know what that was, but I got it.
That's a cool one to get.
Most
That is a
creative
cool one.
and original.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Mm-hmm.
I've never won one
But
of those.
I'm hoping my next one does decently well.
You don't have Hector with you, do you?
I don't,
Or
but
do
I
you?
can grab him in like less than 5 minutes.
It's okay.
We'll just
We
use
can-
the picture that you
Oh, we
He's
can
posted.
share a
small.
picture.
Everyone thinks he's like this big, but he's like
Yeah, I
little bitty.
pictured it. I pictured
Little
it pretty
ground squirrels
small.
are tiny. Yeah.
Well, the idea, it looks like it would be like proportionally, it looks like it's a full pedestal. You know, like if the animal was bigger, everything else would be
That's a
proportionally
good
bigger.
idea, actually.
It's on
Ashley
a
could
ridge
probably
runner.
do that. If you could,
Really?
like, get a good picture of it, you could,
Oh,
like, Photoshop.
and blow it up to where
Put
it
it-
is as big as the
Put it
deer.
next to a deer, yeah, right there.
Yeah. And then, like, have you standing there with your golden caster or next to this.
Or make Dillon really small to match the.
Yeah.
No.
He's
I
already
like
That's
small
the
enough. You don't have to
proportion,
make him
yeah.
any smaller.
Oh my gosh.
That'd be
That was.
great.
I love that little piece though, little Hector.
Yeah. I got some eyes from somebody that might be in here, but my next piece might be pretty sweet.
Cool.
Oh, we're looking forward to it. Is that something you're gonna put together for anything this
I
year,
need
or
to
just
like probably be skinning it and tanning it
You
right
need to
now,
start
but
working on it.
yeah, get that going?
So you
Cool.
named your ground squirrel Hector. Did any, like, I know I've named some competition pieces. Has anybody else, like, named their pieces at all? I figure you put this much time into them, like,
that was the only
Give
one
it a-
I've named.
give it a name.
Except for I named my scimitar. This is probably shouldn't be on there either. The guy's okay with it, but so we have this friend on TikTok. His name's Colby. He's in a wheelchair and he
Oh,
makes wheelchair
gosh.
jokes all the time. And so he kind of helped me come up with Hector. Hector is because he's a Mexican ground squirrel, and you know.
Makes sense.
But anyways, Colby's like, "What are you gonna name the scimitar?" And I was like, "It's got wheels. We should call it Colby." And he's like, "All right."
Oh my god, because I got the wheels.
That's pretty good.
Colby. That's your scimitar. You said
Yeah.
it's Colby, and it's like I don't know. I think of Colby cheese, and scimitars are orange.
Oh,
So that kinda
that-
makes
yeah,
sense.
white and orange.
Oh, maybe
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
a PR. Maybe we'll say
That's
that.
the PR version.
Here, you can add this one in. I named my
I don't think
scimitar
that's
Colby
yeah.
because
I don't think
Because
that
of
has to
cheese.
be cut out. I think that's PR enough, PC enough, whatever.
Oh, you guys crack me up.
Yeah.
I guess Dalton, is there any pieces that stand out to you like that? Like I know you've done some really cool pieces. Or
Probably my most favorite one until I mounted this one was actually him. The one
Mhm.
behind me. I remounted him and took him to North Carolina, and that was my first best category in whitetails.
Cool.
So that was kind of my big piece that I appreciate the most. But I got like 3 pieces in here that are like my favorite because I have a little fawn, a seamless fawn with an open mouth, and she's just adorable. She really is. And everyone loved her. But other than that, it's between mainly just these 2.
oh, and so when you say you remounted it, you just remounted the antlers, right?
Mhm. Yeah, I got
Okay.
a spare tape and redid it.
Nice. That's
So-
that's cool that it was like the first one that you did really well with,
Mhm.
correct? Like that was
Yeah.
the first one that you were like, oh wow, like I'm winning stuff, and
Mhm.
that's
Yeah,
always cool too.
I think they said there were 180 pieces in that show at North Carolina that year.
That's a good
And
year.
a lot of deer in the professional division, so
Nice.
that was fun.
And then your little fawn, you said you competed with that one too.
West Virginia and North Carolina last year. She's over there in the corner. I can actually walk over there and see her.
Oh, did you name her something?
No, she just kind of got her. She's just got this attitude to her, like I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, that's cool. I've never mounted a fawn before, so I'm always intrigued by those, and they always look so sweet. They're just laying there.
It looks like it's not a real little fawn. It's like October. No, I got her in September. So
Oh, that's a yearling. I'm just
yeah,
kidding.
yearling. Hey, I don't see difference in them.
No, just kidding. That's cool. And I guess so, Dalton, you compete with a lot of mammals. You did some fish though.
But I'll compete about everything. I've done waterfowl, turkeys. I haven't done upland yet. Fish. I've done skin mount and reproduction, and then whitetails. I've done game heads with a Sika deer.
Okay, yeah, 'cause that's all across the board kind of thing. Dylan, what about you? Have you just done mammals and stuff, or?
pretty just can't even talk. Pretty much just mammals. I guess game heads to every other state besides New Mexico. You know, we just have a game head division. We don't have like whitetails or so. Yeah, pretty much mule deer, pronghorn, exotics. That's pretty much all I do for shows.
And Heather, you've only competed like with mammals too, right? Haven't you?
Yeah, deer and small mammals, large mammals, game ends.
Yeah.
No fish, no birds.
I know.
I do
just
Can't
birds,
get into
but
those. No.
I do birds. I just don't care to get better at them.
I want another mountain lion. That was a fun one to compete with.
Yeah, I have one in my freezer. I don't know when I'll ever get to it. Got that, and I have a baby's life-size zebra, but I don't know.
It's gonna be cool.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I got that baby zebra in my freezer that I just don't know. It's tanned and everything. I just don't know what to do with it yet. I gotta come up. All that can stick in my head is that one that won at Worlds years ago with it's like its front knees were down and its butt was up and it was like turned looking at like a butterfly or something. And it won. I don't even know how much stuff it won, but it was so awesome. And that's all I have in my head, and I don't want to do that. So I gotta wait till something new gets in my head. Cool idea.
I don't remember seeing that one, but that is like a very like showy piece. Like, you know, obviously when any of us are competing, we want to like have something that's going to capture attention, like Hector, or like just a unique species or something like a little baby fawn, something to, you know, it's kind of different, kind of captures attention, because it's hard to do that with just kind of a basic animal. You know, you could have it doing a cool pose, whatever, but having something unique is like, it's just very flashy and it's fun to even put like all your effort into because it is so special. Like you may not ever get your hands on another zebra, baby zebra at that.
Yeah.
Or baby Audad's on Dalton.
Yeah, baby Audad. There we go.
Is there something else to that story?
I have
that box supposed to get here?
Every animal imaginable in the freezer.
In baby form?
Babies, I have it all. I actually had a guy ask me if I wanted 2 baby elk today.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I was like, I don't know.
That
if
would
you
be
don't know
cool.
anybody, I'll pass the info along, but...
No, don't tell me. I don't need any more ideas. I ain't got enough room.
I know. I guess that maybe poses another question. How big are y'all's freezer museums? Like, do you guys have
Large.
a lot? Like,
I have 2.5 freezers. My half one is just the top of a refrigerator, which we just keep all. That's where we age all our meat and everything.
oh, okay, yeah. So the top portion of a stand-up freezer you have.
I shove all our birds in there. We skin them out when they come in. That's where all our waterfowl and birds go. Everything else is filled to the brim with either turkeys or just capes.
That's not too bad, I feel.
No.
I had 7 freezers. I went and bought 4 big ones, and like, I guess I had more space, but I guess downsized in numbers. And I have one whole, I think they're 27 cubic foot. I don't know, something huge.
Seems pretty
behind
big.
Me.
And anyways, I have one whole one for myself, which I need to get rid of all that stuff because that's too many animals. And then I have half of another one now. That's my personal stuff. So
hard to weed through them.
I know, like you think, oh, this won't take up that much space, and then
I'm a collector,
you do that 15 times. So yeah.
Any bird like that I get that I think is mount worthy, I keep it, and I'm like, I don't want to mount my own birds, so I save them.
They're good spares. I've used a lot of my own stuff to use as spares. I've used actually my own deer capes I've had stored away for using for a show.
Use the waterfowl, man. Nobody uses spare waterfowl. That's illegal.
Yeah, no. You don't use spare waterfowl though. But
no, never.
But yeah, then I don't know, I get on like little kicks and I buy random like exotics or whatever, and then I'll think about mounting them, and then I'll sell them, or I don't know. I
so totally random, but speaking about waterfowl, what's the waterfowl like in New Mexico? Like, you guys have a flyway there?
Yeah, it's crazy. We have part of the Pacific on one side, and then we have, what is it, the Central?
Yes.
Yeah, so we have both of those, and at least where I'm at, I don't know if it's this way everywhere because I'm not really a bird guy by any means. I just like going out there and getting some of them. But I've got like canvasbacks and mallards and pretty much anything you can think of. I've got it. Like, there's cinnamon teal here. And...
Okay. Yeah, I never thought of New Mexico as a waterfowl hunting state. So
there's not a lot of water, so
yeah,
exactly.
Where are the fowl at?
But there's good spots if you can find water.
Mm.
I was gonna say it's kind of similar. Like when I go up to California to see my family, we go down to the desert, and that's where we have our best duck hunting.
Because
So
if you find water, you find them.
yeah,
Pretty
I mean
much.
it's a great spot down there, and you're in shorts the whole entire time. I mean, it can be middle of January.
We have a lot
Yeah,
of
down
crane and
south there.
geese.
A lot of what
too.
geese?
Cranes and geese. And
Oh, cranes and geese. Nice. I'm trying to, I don't know, imagine. New Mexico doesn't seem like a bird place, but you
it's
also have a lot of
whitetail
turkeys.
state too.
For coos kind of whitetails or actual whitetails?
Yeah.
Really?
Normal whitetail.
Gosh. Yeah, you wouldn't expect that.
I have I don't know, you probably won't ever see this, but I have a client that has a 200-inch whitetail on his camera.
Wow.
I was like,
Dang.
oh yeah. He was like, he showed me. I was like, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't believe you at first.
That's okay. People like to exaggerate quite a bit.
Yes.
Like, I'm gonna need to see picture proof, buddy. And he did.
Yeah, we had a guy brought one in for a replica to be made, and he was like, "Yeah, the outfitter said it was like 145," and we're looking at it like this thing's maybe like 125, and we just scored it this week, and it was like 128 or 126.
And he's doing a replica?
Yeah, I don't understand it. It's just a regular old.
I got one in here that I want to make a replica of. I think I said Dillon this one. It's actually that one. That big mule deer.
Yeah, he's nice.
That's 216 with deductions.
That's a tall mule deer.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
he's got nice brows.
He's got 4-inch brows on him.
Wow. That's a worthy replica.
Yeah, it's also. We only got one set, and it's my grandfather, so we'd like a second set.
I had a guy bring in what he said was a 150-inch deer. It was probably, I mean, it wasn't a bad deer. It was probably 120 to 130, but it's just your average mule deer, you know, no forks on the back. It's just, our mule deer kind of look like whitetail a lot of the times. And he wanted it fixed. It was missing 50 inches of antler. He was like, it's a big deer. I need it fixed. And he just wanted a gyro. He already did the gyro itself. So he's like, I want it fixed. I'm like, I'm not going to do that myself. He's like, I understand. So I sent it off, and it was like $2,000 to do. And
was it like broken tines, or was he actually
missing like a main beam and like?
Oh.
And he's like, okay, do it. I was like, all right. So I had it fixed and all of that for like a pretty run-of-the-mill deer. Which, you know, it's his deer. He was happy with it, but that's a lot of money for a euro.
Oh yeah, and it was a euro at that. Wow. Well, that'll make the rack look bigger just on the skull anyway.
Yeah.
Wow. We could have a whole episode dedicated to what customers say and what they do.
Well, yeah, we have that customer stories one.
Oh,
that's, you know, a whole. That'll be coming out
y'all
soon.
wouldn't let me drop names of the.
I know we had to like bleep you out as if you cussed when you say the name.
Is there anything that you guys have as far as advice to anybody who might be thinking about competing?
Do it. Just jump in and do it.
Jump in head first pretty much and just go for it. That's your biggest part. Even if it's taking a customer piece.
The best thing you could do is, like, I get you learn from just showing up, but I feel like it's so much better to take a piece because that's your work and you're going to learn from your flaws or whatever you have going on how to be better.
Exactly. And then it transfers over into your commercial work everyday stuff.
One of the questions that a lot of new people have is like, do I enter professional because I do it full time? Do I enter amateur that I'm starting out? Like, what's your guys' opinion on that?
If you're full time, in my opinion, you should be doing professional because you're doing it to make your commercial work better too. So if you go professional, you're going to get that added critique that's going to allow you to transfer it over into your commercial work. If you're doing it for just fun, like for example, my fiance, she helps me out, and she's started competing. She's been in the amateur division, and whenever she takes something, she'll put it in the amateur division. But I tell her, I said, if you blew, you're moving out. I said, you're not gonna sit there and, we call it sandbagging and all that. And I said, you're not gonna sit there and sandbag. I said, you move up. I said, if you can do it, you're gonna move up. So now she's in professional for whitetails and fish. So
Cool.
I feel like if you've done like 10 pieces by yourself, why not? Why not move up? You know how to mount an animal, so that's the start. Why not just get the better critique?
Yeah. I like the way that you worded it, Dalton, about, you're going to get a better critique if you're doing it full time. That better critique is going to help you in your professional business, pretty much.
Yeah, no, it does. Because, I mean, it changed a lot. Like, I can look back through my phone from the first deer I mounted to my first customer deer to the deer I mounted a year ago and then to this deer. And, I mean, I can see the whole entire difference just in competing at different levels.
Yeah, no kidding. Like, I guess my first time ever competing, I competed in the novice, which is like amateur. And because they said I had to, like, because it was my first time ever competing. And I guess looking back, I could have contested that too. Could have been like, hey, no, like I'm a taxidermist. But it was good, like, just to get my feet wet. And I did get like a blue ribbon, which I probably wouldn't have if I entered a professional. So it kind of kept me motivated. Yeah. But like in hindsight, probably would have stepped up into professional, but I'm glad I didn't. So could go both ways on that. But yeah, just what both of you guys have said, just like do it, like if you're on the fence, just do it. Take a piece, take something off the wall. Sometimes there's even a commercial division that you can enter if you're like, nah, it's, don't look at it with a flashlight. It's not that good, but it's still like, I want to get judged on it. You can take it, put it in commercial if that's an option.
So. Yeah, because you can always ask the judge to talk to you even after, and they'll go up and they'll look over the whole entire thing. Like, I know if it's Hilton, I mean, when I first started competing with whitetails, Hilton wasn't even the judge. I walked into the supply room, talked to him, and I told him I had a deer in there. He took me aside, walked up with me, and went over my whole entire deer with me. And it was like getting a critique, but it wasn't. You didn't feel all that pressure on you at the same time.
It's interesting to get. Oh, go ahead, Ashley. Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say that's like another hidden gem of competing that people don't maybe know about, is that it's not just the judge that can critique your work. You can ask other people that are there and trusted people.
And some people will do it without asking. No.
yeah. Even when it's not welcome.
But I like asking like 2 or 3 people that I know, that even if they don't like do so hot score wise, if I think their work's good, I'm like, can you like look at my work, and they'll do it. And it's interesting to see the different things that stand out to them more. Like something that may not even be on your score sheet, they'll be like, I don't like this, or like they like it, but they tell you how to fix it,
No, I've had that happen. Yeah.
Yeah, one time when I was competing, it was at the National Show, and I brought Blacktail behind me, and I had 4 different people, including the judge, critique it differently. Like it was the judge, and then like Gene Smith, and Larry O'Malley, and then like Wes Moat, like all these people, along with this Owen Eldridge was the judge, and they were all pretty consistent, but then there was like different things that they pointed out. Like it was kind of funny that 2 of the guys emphasized certain things that the other 2 guys emphasized like other things. Like it was interesting to see, because they're also like good, they're really good taxidermists. Obviously they had different things they saw, but it was all consistent at the same time.
And added on to that, that's the biggest thing. If you get multiple different sets of eyes on your mount, you're going to notice more stuff. And then you can pretty much, if everyone hits you on one thing, to fix that. But everyone has their own personal preference for everything. Like eye shapes, finish, colors on the eyes or the nose. Every deer is different, but trying to find that happy medium is the biggest point. When you have multiple eyes on it, it definitely helps to figure it out.
So can I ask a question? What's y'all's favorite judge? Like, I get that, like, I respect all of them, but of course you like pick up a favorite one over competing. I do anyways.
I don't know if I've ever had the same judge more than once.
I have least favorite judge.
All right, let's hear it. No, I'm kidding.
I don't know if I have. There was this one dude at Nationals when I won my national championship years ago. Don't know his name, never saw him since, don't have a clue who he is. But he was like one that sticks out in my head. I just don't know his name. But he taught me like some of the most, like the best tips that then actually improved my work more than most other judges did. So whoever you are, if you judge small mammals in Pennsylvania, I don't know who you are, but it made an impression on me.
Oh, that's good. I mean, at least you remember the takeaway, even if you forgot who he was.
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
It was so good that you just focused on the critique, not who
Well,
he was as a person. You didn't try to track him
yeah.
down and
I was just starting out, so like everybody was new to me. So like here's this guy, I don't know who he is. I remember what he looks like. And he did say a lot of people don't really like me. I remember that. So maybe that's why he hasn't been back anywhere.
I also feel like a lot of judges say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, I
people
mean-
don't like
Vincent
me.
Fleming. I really liked Vincent Fleming.
Yes, Vincent Fleming's a good guy.
He was a good whitetail judge.
He's
Mhm.
never been an official judge of my stuff, but he's looked over my stuff before and gave me good advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looked over my stuff at Nationals and gave me some good advice. So
he's a good dude.
Dylan, do
But-
you have a favorite judge? You mentioned it, and we didn't ask you.
Well, I like Owen. He's a really cool dude. He's judged my stuff, and I feel like I don't know. There's this balance in my head about how people do critiques that like make them like a good judge. Like they're almost excited to be there. Like I like Owen. He's good at like I guess wording things that I didn't understand when I first started, and he's real cool. Like he remembered me, which was weird. I was like, how does he remember me? He only judged my stuff once, but yeah, he remembered me, and that was cool. I like Dave Ferguson. Dave Ferguson's like got all kinds of stuff that he knows that I feel like I'm sure everyone knows, but he brings them up, you know. And I guess I don't have like an actual favorite, but
If ones you like.
Dwayne Dewey, he gave me a critique about things that most judges wouldn't like touch on, like the bass and how to make the flow better, and I thought that was really cool. I love mounting sheep, so like he's like the sheep man in my eyes, so I'm like, this is really cool. And then there's like guys in New Mexico, they're really good, but they only go to New Mexico, and they're like, so I asked them, so in my eyes they're like a judge to me, so like they're real cool too. But
Awesome.
I would say I have like
Yeah.
3: Dave, Owen, and Dwayne.
I think they'll change varying on all of our states too, because I mean Dalton and me are on the East Coast, and we see some different people
yeah.
than what you see out there in like the Southwest. You know, Dwayne Dewey's never judged a state show. We tried to get Owen,
No.
but we weren't paying enough apparently, so he didn't come and do our show. So yeah, you see different people in different parts of the country.
Yeah, that is true. Like, it's, you get a lot of Midwestern people. They're in the Midwest and then the East Coast, but of course judges fly all over the place too. The thing I like about judges, like, even when they're not so great or whatever, they're still gonna say something that
Yeah.
you can take away. Like I've
Yeah.
always taken away something from a critique, even when I'm like,
Yeah.
kind of like
No, I
didn't
know
really
what
like
you
what you had to
mean,
say there, but
Yep.
or like when I've even had kind of like a judge sort of insult me a little bit, and I'm like, what the heck? Like, but I still had to take away from it that I learned
Yeah.
something that I still use all the time from what they said.
Mm.
This one is like, I don't want to say too much because it was a long time ago, but but no, I appreciate judges no matter what they say.
Yes,
Even
and
when
it is because they have to they're taking the time. They're not getting paid a lot, and they're gonna make people mad. So I
Yeah.
feel like no matter what they say, even if it hurts your feelings, you do, like what you said, Ashley. You do take something from it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even if you take some tears, you're taking something away. I'm just kidding. There's always good pieces of advice. It's so hard though, because when you put all your heart and soul into something, and somebody's like, "This sucks," then you don't want to listen at all. So
Yeah.
it's hard to be like, "Okay, yeah, I'm gonna hear what you have to say," even though I don't want to.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
I've probably said some things I shouldn't have to some judges. Like, I don't ever feel like I'm rude to them, but I have said some things. And I'm like, and then after it's over, I was like, oh, I feel bad because I might have sounded mean.
I don't think you. I don't know. Knowing you, I don't think you were actually mean. But you probably.
I don't think you can ever be mean to
But-
anybody.
But I mean, he was a good judge, but like just when it came to critiques, he seemed like mean to me, I guess. I'm sure he wasn't, but
I know I've had one of those too, where
Mhm.
I feel like like I just had this other person come up to me and tell me how nice this judge was to them about their piece that isn't really very nice. And then he goes and critiques mine, which did better than that one, but made me feel like I shouldn't even be doing taxidermy.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
it's like I feel like it was like singling me out, and I don't know.
that's such a that critique time is such a sensitive interaction, I guess. That's
You have to be supportive, but truthful. It's a balance
Yeah.
of making you feel like crap while trying to tell you this needs to, like, don't make me feel like crap, but tell me what to do better.
You're right there. You just got to do this.
Yes.
I feel
that's
like
good. That's
Owen's,
one of the best terms. You're right
Owen's
there.
good about that. He's good about that. That's how I feel about Owen.
He seems like a nice
I'll
guy
say-
just from seeing him.
The best two I've had that come from are Ronnie Gilliard and Hilton Epley. Those are probably my favorite two out of all judges.
A lot of the judges I remember aren't even judging anymore. Like, people don't even know them.
Well,
Like, they haven't been a thing in like 20
you
years.
guys saying a lot of names, and I'm sitting here going, I don't even know some of them.
I don't know who
names.
that is.
And I'm like,
oh really?
because I'll text somebody and I'm like, who's this judge? And they'll tell me, they'll just list it off. I'm like, I don't know who he is, and they look at me like, what the heck? And I'm just like, so
It happens. I know we just played Hotel California for my niece today, and she never even heard the
What?
song. So,
Oh, the song.
how in the world does that, like, it's just the same thing in the taxidermy world where we get used to hearing about
Mhm.
people. And then when someone's like, oh, I never heard of them, you're like, what? How?
yeah, it's interesting.
Be like that.
I know.
Something that would be nice is if, one of the things that's nice about the podcast is, like, typically people can leave an episode feeling like they learned something. And I'm sure there was something that people took away from today. But are there any, like, one tip that each of you would share? Like, anything to do taxidermy that you've learned that you were like, man, like, that's a good tip.
Like, not just competing wise, but just
Yeah,
like
in
in
your
general.
shop.
Be comfortable getting outside your shell. Don't
Right.
don't hold yourself back. If you want to try something, do it. That's pretty much the biggest thing I've learned. And don't be afraid to call and ask somebody questions. Like,
Yeah.
I still to this day, when it comes to commercial work, if I got a question, I mean, if you guys ever get on if you've seen me and Dillon on TikTok, I was working on in Nyala, and I looked at him and I said, "What am I doing?" I didn't know a single thing. So,
Yeah.
but then, I mean, I'll call.
Yeah, that made me feel smart.
Yeah.
Like, I'll call my buddy Tim Young, and he does tons of African work. He'll just tell me everything.
Yeah. What about you, Dylan? What
Well,
kind
in
of
my head, when she asked that, I was gonna go with like the boomer reference, like reference.
boomer?
But seriously, I guess just like don't be afraid to talk to other people. Like, we all still have this idea in our head that everyone's mean and doesn't want to share nothing. They don't want to see you do good. I think that's the very opposite of what it actually is.
There's a small portion.
There was
of it out
something
there.
else I was thinking of, but I don't remember it now.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I think that kind of contributes to like I said way earlier, that like the national show just had like such good work. I was like, dang. And I think because social media, like, people are able to ask questions more and interact more, and people aren't like safeguarding information as
Yep.
much. Like, I think it's allowing people to just do even higher quality work, which is like good for everybody. It's good for the animals, it's good for the art, it's good for everything if everybody, their quality's higher. Yeah, it's intimidating if people are better than you, but obviously that's what everybody wants to see, is good
Yeah.
work, right? Doing the animals justice
Yep.
and all that.
Don't let it control your life.
Oh, that's a good piece of advice too.
That is
Yes,
good.
it is.
Take
Be
at least
overwhelming.
one day off. Even if you don't do anything. I don't do anything but taxidermy. It drives me bonkers sitting in the house, just laying around. But one day off a week is beneficial.
Yeah.
If you want to
That's a
go
really good
hunting,
piece of advice right
and
there.
people call and you're not there and they're not going to drop it off because you're not there, I don't think they're really the kind of clients you want. So
I agree.
don't be afraid to go hunt. Don't be afraid to go do family stuff. just go. But you know, you got to make sure your stuff gets done. But
Mm-hmm.
you know, don't let it hold you down.
Yeah, because that can definitely
Yeah,
happen.
no, we can.
No joke.
Great.
But yeah, so I guess we could kind of wrap up. Is there anything else that you guys would like to add?
I don't think I got anything.
Nope. Well, that wraps up our episode for today, and we would like to thank Dillon and Dalton for joining us, and we'd like to thank everyone for listening. Remember to follow us on Facebook at Wildverse Taxidermy Podcast and Instagram at Wildverse Podcast.
And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Wildverse Podcast, to watch this episode and see when new videos come out. We would also love it so much if you left us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to the podcast.
All right, thanks. Bye.
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 Bye.